Hello and thank you for visiting the Grap YouTube channel where you can find yet another video providing updates on Bitcoin. The markets were very unpredictable yesterday, so the prospect of a weekend getaway is very appealing. Things have calmed down and the market has made a partial recovery. The apparent continued growth of Bitcoin supremacy is astounding. The fact that we have never experienced a shift in fashion makes it seem reasonable. Therefore, Bitcoin's tendency of domination. The chart has been increasing and shows no signs of stopping, so we just go with the flow and Bitcoin is still going strong. Evidently, Bitcoin's price action remains confined to this range. Also, when you exhale, you won't. Many things transpired, but it's obvious they get a lot of money from the Bitcoin chart and altcoins. They had to endure some pain yesterday, and that's okay. Even our service regions weren't suitable for several cryptocurrencies. There are a lot of altcoins that are in support zones right now. One example is Ondo. Among them are many others, such as Retrieve.ai. Nevertheless, Bitcoin is largely in the range's center at the moment. No big deal, it still hasn't risen over its March 20th low. The sole distinctive aspect was the significant decline in cryptocurrency value yesterday. Its justification is a mystery to me. Please let me know if you have any knowledge about that. We never look for answers because, well, it's just rubbish, and I know that. People are continually trying to figure out why things happen, like price changes. Everything boils down to how the market is feeling. Having said that, sure, there are catalysts from time to time. On top of that, we are still mostly staying inside the larger established bands for a lot of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin has also failed to even approach the lower orange support zone on multiple occasions. We can talk about the framework now. So the aforementioned micro resistance zone is now in play and Bitcoin is getting ready to enter it. Therefore, while right now it's staying inside the white count boundaries that were set, still Bitcoin is at a pivotal juncture as well. In this case, then, let's talk about the options that are out there. Plus, we're still stuck in a framework that's supposed to fix things. In an unforeseen turn of events, deep in a correctional system. Okay, let's talk about what's possible now. Here are three from me for you. I keep an eye on the third one, but it's secondary to the others. Consequently, the yellow count must be the initial one. Since we surpassed Wednesday's low, that one isn't relevant anymore. Having said that, the market is at a crossroads right now. On top of that, trading for it offers a favorable reward to risk ratio. In this particular scenario, for example, wave 4 hit bottom on March 25th. In addition, right now, there is the fifth wave, which split into the first and second waves, finishes with an upside diagonal. Hence, this stands for AB in wave 3. Following that should be the ocean wave. There is no evidence that the C wave has started that I am aware of. Getting past the 68,144 micro resistance level would be the initial indicator. The low 81,000 zone indeed should be our eventual destination once the C surge has pushed us there. 2 4s and a 4s. Remember that one? It's the yellow one. Seriousness of the problem. Keep in mind that the future is completely unpredictable. Obviously, no one has a crystal ball, which is necessary for that. But there are a few glaring indicators that need our attention. It is essential to note that this scenario has a high reward to risk ratio. Currently, a break below the 64,552nd of April low will invalidate both the micro pattern and this scenario. As a result, we are quite close to that floor. At that point, invalidation occurs. That is correct, it would. Be the first to know if you're interested in trading for this. If you were serious about trading for it, I think you should wait for it to set up off the C wave. In the third wave of the C wave, a deal can be the subject. But these twos aren't necessarily easy to see. Fair enough, and especially when riding a wave. An example of a C wave would be a terminating diagonal. It might look like utter chaos. But what I mean is that while we're in this situation, given yesterday's disturbance, it is especially important that Tuesday, the second low of April, remains valid. The second and hopefully last option is the one that is now being considered. Sure, I don't intend to. Because of this, cryptocurrency values can fall significantly, if not fall into entirely other categories, and a couple may possibly break under these conditions. In my view, that's the most probable outcome, the white count, but during corrections, prices frequently retrace and change at critical junctures. Adding to that, it was a bit unusual that the cryptocurrency market crashed yesterday. If we had one or two more low spots here in agreement with the white count, it would hurt them even more, I'm afraid. Oh my goodness, this. Instead of a B wave rally on March 20th, as would normally happen after a fourth wave, and a wave decline is taking place here. A down C wave is this. Following the identification of 5 waves all the way down to the Wednesday low, we experienced wave 1. After the first wave of collapse, there was an incongruity between the second wave of corrective bounce and the third wave of drop. You have a target zone from 65K to 62.4K that I gave you yesterday. That is exactly where we ended up. Nevertheless, for the third wave to be genuinely reliable, one more low is necessary. A further 4 or 5 can be acquired afterwards. As a result, we may potentially reach 60,100. In addition, it is still possible to anticipate this situation with some degree of certainty, assuming the market doesn't break through the barrier. That being said, a breach of the first barrier would thus serve as the first indicator that the white count is not being adhered to. The third one wasn't quite long enough to be reliable just yet. All we're really up to is 3 waves. Therefore, it is acceptable and in line with the white count that only 3 waves are up. However, the principle remains the same. We need one more low. Perhaps a triangle or another shape will emerge from this. Take a look. On the other hand, if a break above 68,144 continues to show that either the yellow count needs more attention. Yes, I find this quite interesting at the moment. You could always go with a diagonal though. Thus, wave 4 is valid from a technical standpoint until the price region of wave 4 is passed. As a result, we need to be, but usually, I prefer it not to go over the 50% FIP mark. Even while the third choice is still open to me, I'm not actively pursuing it right now. The shape is that of a triangle. Yes, an A wave is down because this triangle is ABCD structured. A revolt known as the B wave, and the descending C wave must continue to rise above the low point that was reached on March 20th. A D wave might potentially follow, you see. So if the following rally breaks below micro resistance but still makes a lower high, then it is not the D wave of a triangle. Then it's possible that another E wave will happen. Therein lies its unsightliness. Additionally, it is possible to obtain an E wave. It is possible that the triangle will conclude at that point. When it is done, we may move forward. So that is precisely what I am observing at the moment. I merely intended to raise the subject. Our triangle is incomplete in my opinion. I need time to think. Those 2 things cannot be B and A. I think it might be an entire triangle. As someone asked me to guess, it is unclear to me how. It is unclear to me how. From that point on, it would be graded as an A. Place this in position B if you must.
Group C, D, and E, it doesn't work since the B can't be above the D. I understand that about covers my present outlook on the Bitcoin chart. All of the parameters are identical. Against that main support zone, the bull market is continuing.
Nothing has been done to disprove this. Being flexible is all that's required of us. On the inside of these compact buildings, I think it's critical to understand the relevant parameters. During a correction, it is usually not a good idea to trade aggressively. In a correction, I never understand why someone would exploit leverage when it comes to. People were used as bargaining chips. A sell-off would not have occurred if yesterday's events had not unfolded in this manner. Correcting something normally doesn't allow you to do that. You should not trade hastily. That is a well-known move, and you can definitely pull it off. Of course, for example, if we are already in the next up move, like a third wave rally or something comparable, then leverage makes sense that is outside of a correction. Naturally, we spoke about
that.
It also would have, yes, you should be prepared for unexpected changes in course while we're still undergoing a correction. That basically is the nature of a correction. As a whole, the market is trying to accomplish a lot. Furthermore, you are aware Elliott wave is a great tool since it clarifies the important background information. Also, if the circumstances suggest that we could still be in a correction, it's usually not a good idea to be highly leveraged. Being polite is all it takes. Sure, do what makes you happy, but in a bull market, there's usually no need to. Possibly avoid. Nobody should be left out. Criticizing someone severely is unnecessary. To rephrase, it is from the correction that the trend is born, rather of trading aggressively during a decline. It is wise to prepare yourself for the next larger move. Range trading is all it is. In most cases, range trading is not the best time to use leverage. This is simply bringing it up again, In addition, yesterday's sell-off was probably caused by people who had too much debt. But that's the latest news regarding Bitcoin. I trust that the revision meets your expectations. Kindly hit the like button and leave a comment if that's the case. Consider subscribing and adding a comment. Those who find value in the channel's material should consider subscribing. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter so that you never miss a post. Thanks a lot for taking a look. So long.